How will God show himself to those who follow him? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 2 Samuel on walking through the Bible.
Of his word, the glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing 2 Samuel chapter 22, verses 26 to 37. Before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 26. But if you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So 2 Samuel chapter 22, beginning verse 26. With the merciful you will show yourself merciful. With the blameless man you will show yourself blameless. With the pure you will show yourself pure. And with the devious you will show yourself shrewd. You will save the humble people, but your eyes are on the haughty, that you may bring them down. For you are my lamp, O Lord. The Lord shall enlighten my darkness. For by you I can run against a troop. By my God I can leap over a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is proven. He is a shield to all who trust in him. For who is God except the Lord? And who is a rock except our God? God is my strength and power, and he makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer and sets me on my high places. He teaches my hands to make war, so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. You have also given me the shield of your salvation. Your gentleness has made me great. You enlarged my path under me, so my feet did not slip. Over the last two lessons, we have been looking at a psalm written by David early on in his reign, following victories that David achieved over his enemies and over King Saul. This psalm is practically identical to what we have recorded in Psalms 18, but is likely included here by the author of 2 Samuel as a way of showing David as an overall man of faith as he closes out this book. What we have found so far is David as a man who trusted in the Lord. He trusted in the Lord for protection and deliverance, and the Lord had done so. He did so in the case of Saul, and he did so in the case of all of David's other enemies. David said that God was inclined to do so because David had been righteous before God and walked in his ways. This is not David being self-righteous, but David simply stating that his heart is such that he desired to walk in the ways of the Lord. David, though, like all people, needed God's grace for when they sinned, but if a heart desires to follow after God, they will repent of sin and turn back to God. Coming now to verse 26, David is continuing his thought about why God has delivered him by examining the character of God himself. David says, to the merciful, you will show mercy. This echoes what Jesus said in Matthew 5, verse 7, when he said the merciful would be blessed, for they would obtain mercy. And what Jesus said in Matthew 6:14, that if men will forgive others their trespasses, God would forgive them. It is also the sentiment in a couple of Jesus' parables, like the parable of the wicked servant found in Matthew 18, verses 21 to 35. If we want to obtain mercy from God, mercy for committing sins against an all-righteous God, we have to show mercy towards those who in the grand scheme of things have done much less worse things to us. David also says to the blameless man, God will show himself blameless, and to the pure, God will show himself pure. Well, to the righteous, the actions of God will always be viewed as right and just, because the righteous delight in the presence of God. God's uprightness, his justice, and faithfulness will be joy of those who are upright, just, and faithful, both towards God and man. God's purity and holiness will be the joy of those that are pure and holy, who therefore give thanks for it. On the flip side, to those who walk in darkness, who walk unrighteously, God's actions will be hated, and God will be seen as perverse. And isn't that the truth? If you've ever listened to an atheist talk about God, they use words like feckless, capricious, authoritarian, vindictive, egotistical, sexist, racist, homophobic, and bloodthirsty to describe the God that I worship. They read through the Bible and see all those things and what God does. Yet I read through the same Bible, read the same passages that they do, and see God's justice and God's punishment for sin, but at the same time, God's deliverance of the righteous by his grace and mercy. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, yes, for sin, but he saved Lot's family, who weren't involved in Sodom's sins. Yes, he destroyed the Canaanites for sin, but he saved Rahab and her family because they believed in him and walked by faith. Why do I see God this way? Because I'm not blinded by such a hatred for God that I am able to not only see what God did, but why he did it, and why what he did was just. When people commit crimes, they are convicted and punished with a prison sentence. Might someone who hates punishment think that such treatment was unjust? Yes, but that doesn't make the punishment unjust. Punishment for crime is not only just, it is required if a society is to be a just society, a society that rewards good and punishes evil. Likewise, punishment for sin by God is just, and in fact is necessary if God is going to be a just God, a God who rewards good and punishes evil. The righteous do not fear the judgment of God, for we fully trust in him for our salvation. God is the lamp to light our path. His way is perfect, his word is proven, his strength is sure, and through him he provides us strength and power to live life righteously and to widen the way so that we do not fall into sin. He can do that because he is Jehovah, the only true God in existence. All we have to do is heed his voice and follow his teachings. Nothing more required. We'll continue with this song, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of 2 Samuel chapter 22, verses 38 to 46, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.